imagine, if you will, going into a room. I heard a quote, but I don't remember exactly, right? But imagine going into a room, right? You knock. And you say, hey, I wanna talk to you. I want to sit in this room with you. Because I'm angry. I'm very angry. Right? And the entity is anger. Anger says, well, come on in. People want to talk to me all the time. And you sit down in the room with anger. And you tell anger all the shit, all the stuff, the struggle. And anger's like, yeah, tell me more. Tell me more. Yeah, I do that. Yeah, I do that all the time. And then you're like, okay, well, I'm done here. Right? And you go to walk out the door and anger says, you know what, though? I want to let you know that actually my name's not Anger. I am the curse of death. You know what? If you'd like to take this video to an extra notch, I advise you to listen to the theme song to The Omen. The Omen is a movie about, I'm sure, just Google it. The first Omen, not the second or the third one, but the first Omen. Do yourself a favor and don't look at the lyrics. So you can listen to that in the background. And I'll tell you more about this curse. The curse of death. I am the death curse. Strangely, death is liberation. Death is the ending of life. So, how am I going to get away with being the curse of death when there's nothing wrong with death? And death is actually nothing to be afraid of. It's nothing scary. And death is nothing evil. I know what to do. I'll turn into grief. That's how I'll sneak into your soul. Yeah. The curse of death, the actual curse of death, is grief. See, you haven't figured out that grief is a certain time period. It's only supposed to last for so long. No, you're gonna carry me around forever because you're never gonna go get any counseling. You don't believe in going to, what do they call them, psychologists? Shrinks. You're not crazy. No, you won't be crazy, but you'll definitely be possessed by my curse. So, does that sound familiar? Just even a little bit? I bet if you're over the age of 30, you've experienced this curse. We all know that death is a normal part of life, right? We understand this. We all know that we're going to have our own time, right? We understand that. What we don't understand is what to do with those feelings when you really want to talk to that person, you really want to see that person. The panic, the absolute sheer panic of knowing that this person is never coming back and there's nothing you can do about it because they're probably just a pile of bones in a box or maybe ashes in an urn. All you have are memories. You know what I liken it to? When I was under this curse, it literally feels like acid in your veins. Not like if you burned yourself on a stove, that kind of burn, an external burn. It doesn't feel like that. This is more internal. You can feel this pumping through your heart. You can feel this in your brain. You can feel this from the top of your head to the sole of your feet to the tips of your fingers. This burning. You know what else they say? Burns internally forever. Hell. Grief has to be something close to that. That feeling is terrible. And if you've ever grieved really hard, in the midst of feeling this acid in your veins, you'll start to hear things sound like, it's actually you crying. It's your tears. And what is that? The gnashing of teeth. Hell, my friend, sounds like you've been to hell before. Just burning on the inside, just crying and crying about some shit that you cannot control. This person is never coming back, and you can't do anything about it, and nobody understands. Imagine, if you will, going into a room. I heard a quote, but I don't remember exactly, right? But imagine going into a room, right? You knock. And you say, hey, I wanna talk to you. I wanna sit in this room with you because I'm angry. I'm very angry, right? And the entity is anger. Anger says, well, come on in. People want to talk to me all the time. And you sit down in the room with anger. And you tell anger all the shit, all the stuff, the struggle. And anger's like, yeah, tell me more. Tell me more. Yeah, I do that. Yeah, I do that all the time. And then you're like, okay, well, I'm done here. Right? And you go to walk out the door and anger says, you know what though? I want to let you know that actually my name's not anger. I'm grief. The quote went something like, you sit in the room with anger long enough and it'll tell you I'm actually not anger. I'm grief. Those are those psychological things I'm talking about. How you need to talk to a professional to sit down with you, to explain this to you, to help you with this, to help you understand this. Do you remember what's love got to do with it? Remember Tina tried to take her own life? He was so pissed off at her. He said, if you die, bitch, I kill you. Those twisted feelings, just a ball. It's so confusing, right? Because when the person dies, first you feel that pain, right? And then it's like, but why did you leave me? You didn't have to leave me, right? And then you look in the sky or wherever. What is going on? This is not a good place to live in. This is not a safe world, right? How could this be a safe world when one day somebody's here and the next day they're gone forever? I mean, literally, 1 minute they were right there. Sometimes in seconds, and they're gone. Like Thanos. Poof. Forever. What are you supposed to do with that? You gotta go and talk to a professional. Granny, your sister, your brother, your mama, the people at work, your best friend. Because there's stages of it. And you need to be around people who understand what that is. If you've never been around a person who's really experienced grief, they'll pat you on the shoulder and tell you, hey, this happens all the time. But are we ordering that pizza or not? Like, oh yeah, I had a cousin that died like 2 months ago. COVID, nasty thing. Yeah, it's going around. But anyway, you seen that new Marvel movie? They won't be able to connect with you on that soul gut-wrenching acid that you're feeling. They won't understand that. So, how do we get past this grief, this curse, without necessarily talking to a psychologist today? So, I came up with some things. And I would say I'm an expert at grief. I'm an expert at suffering through the curse, the black fog of grief. I know what it is, you know. It's your mother dying before you're an adult. It's you not having a father, and it's you being the only child. It's you going to your mother's funeral, sitting in that front pew alone, from your left to your right. There's other people there, but there's nobody on that bench with you. It's that weird ass wait. I think that shit's terrible. You go the day before to look at them in a box for how many hours? Then you go the next day to see them in the box again. Then you get to stand there in front of everybody while they close the box. Now we follow the box to the cemetery. Now we get to see the box go in the ground. And then maybe in 6 months, a year, you get to come back and the box is all covered up. And you got a pile of dirt and a stone there. That will rock your world. There's no sitting at home with a bowl of soup, getting over that and having a good cry. There's no getting over that. We're not even going to talk about having a child inside of you and holding it and it dying. Those feelings, all of that, being around people who say, my mother, my mother, my mother, my mother, or my children, or if you lost a brother, my brother, my brother, my brother. The odd thing is at the funeral, people will be saying these things, unbeknownst to them, of the hell that you're in at your mother's funeral or your child's funeral, maybe at your aunt's funeral. You have to be solid in knowing that you need some help. And most of the time, people around you are not going to be able to give it to you. What they're going to tell you is fucking buck up. But as soon as somebody close to them dies, you'll see the difference. Oh yeah, it's a big difference now that it's their people. So, I'll give you some advice and I'll throw in a little bonus, okay? So, if you believe there's another side to death, there's another place that we go, okay? So, you're gonna go to another place. Now, this is just in the back of my mind. Now I'm going on some philosophy shit, right? But you know how people just get cancer and they never smoked a cigarette? Ever? You know how a person will get a brain tumor and they're a vegetarian? You know sicknesses and crazy shit that happen to good people? You know we have that question, why do bad things happen to good people? Why bad shit happens to good people? Why you can get cancer, stage 4, out of nowhere? You transitioned over and you got a slew of people somewhere crying over you, grieving you, hating you because you left, saying, why did you do this to me? How could you leave me? All that energy swarming around. Do you think fucking Michael Jackson is happy wherever the fuck he is? The way we pull on his soul, we pull him back. He's having a weird ass experience somewhere. We didn't let him go. We can't let him go. There's a lot of people we just can't let go, right? So when you transition over, you got all these fucking spirits somewhere else, angry that you left, needing you, pleading for you to come back, turn their back on God because of you. They might even go to hell because of you. After you, they didn't believe in anybody. After you, they went to jail for life. After you, they started blowing people's brains out. Because how could you leave them after you? They became alcoholics. They got on drugs. Because your spirit left them. I think it creeps into your existence. Your new existence. And they pull on you. When I miss my mother, this took years and it took counseling. It also took psych meds. I acknowledge I miss her, but I tell her, Mama, I'm okay. No, I don't need you to come back. That's necromancy. You cannot raise the dead and put a spirit back in there. Let it go. And you're practicing this necromancy, having these conversations with this dead person. The only thing you need to be saying is, I know you did what you could while you was here. I appreciated your existence and I hope you're doing well where you're at. Grief is a spiritual form of haterism. You're hating. This person did what they came to do in life and they died. Why the fuck are you hating on them? They did what they had to do. They helped you as much as they could. They went to as many parties with you as they could. They had as many conversations as they could with you. They did as much as they could. I know you wish you had more time. You thought they could have did more, but they can't. They didn't. That's all they could do for you is what they did. Now you're going to pull on their soul like that. You're fucking up their existence somewhere. You're making them as a good person. Something bad, weird shit is happening to them because you can't let go. Grief. It's a curse that follows most around forever. You see them. People say, oh, that's so-and-so. They ain't been the same. He ain't been the same since his mother died. Oh, that's so-and-so, so-and-so. Ever since they lost, man, they never been the same. Some people are never the same. Ever. Why can't you be the same? They did all that they could. You want to be like Ike? You want to kill them because they about to die? You want to kill them because they died? You're angry at them for leaving you. You're angry at God for them taking you. You a hater. You're a spiritual hater. It's like somebody graduating before you in class. We're all here to study. We're all here to graduate. This person graduated. Get the fuck over it. You got to graduate too. But now you got to say, well, I'm not going to graduate and I'm going to stay in this classroom forever. Yeah, I know. We're all supposed to transcend and we're supposed to go somewhere else. But I'm going to struggle with this and I'm just going to be a bad person. And when people say, why do you act that way? Why does he act that way? Why does she act that way? Oh, well, you know, they lost their parents in a car crash. That doesn't give you a fucking excuse to be a terrible person. Go get some help. And stop pulling on their existence. Let them live wherever they are. Let them, yes, you miss them. That's okay. Acknowledge that you miss them and wish them well. It'll make you feel good if you say whatever you're doing. I tell my mother's spirit, if you have more kids, I hope you have, she always wanted a son. She wanted to name him Michael. I said, Mom, I hope you had Michael. I hope you had twins. I hope you had quadruplets. I hope you got fucking 5 little Michaels right there. I hope everything you didn't have in this life, you got it now. I hope you are happy now. Thank you for everything you taught me. Thank you for every day you spent with me. Thank you for every second we had, but I wish you well. No, don't worry about me. I'm okay. I'm still eating. I'm sleeping good. I'm in good health. I'm okay. I wish you well. Imagine if when we die, people who have been extremely successful, or maybe they're born into families that are millionaires, imagine it's because when they died, their family and their friends wished them well. It was actually a celebration. Death is not a curse. What if their people, their friends, their neighbors understood this? And so in their next life, they are boosted with prosperity. They are boosted with all kinds of money and lands. And everybody's like, how did they get so lucky? Well, that's all I got for you now. I hope you like it. And I hope you don't let the curse of grief, sneak in your soul and haunt you, follow you into the day you die. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye. I fly away. Okay, so I have a bonus for the curse of death. Curse of death, I believe, is grief. So here's the bonus. You'll notice this. Hopefully you haven't experienced this. But you know, when I was at my mother's funeral, right? If you go to the burial site, when they say the last words, everybody who doesn't have a serious connection to that person in the box, they walk off. They're able to walk off. You'll always look back. If you look back every now and then, you'll see one person. Just because the priest or whatever said their last words, this person cannot move. They're rooted there in that spot. That was me. At my mother's funeral, they said the last words and everybody walked off. There was this one guy, unfortunately I forget his name, but he was my mother's friend. They had something romantic, but it was like in college or something like that. And he walked off and he came back. He said, oh, he said, you're still here? He said, I'm so sorry this happened. I'm just going to wait here with you. And I stood there for about 15 minutes. He didn't say anything. And then when we walked off, I walked off. He started walking with me and he said, you know what? I'm so sorry this happened. He said, I don't have a lot of money. He gave me like $142. And he was like, here. And if you ever want to talk to somebody, you can call me. Now, I'm not saying you have to give a person $142 or give them your phone number, right? And I don't know what happened to his phone number. I didn't keep it. I did take the $142. I hope he's doing well. I don't even remember his name. But you remember what I just said? I remember that somebody stayed with me there. He didn't talk to me. He just said, oh, I'll stay here with you. He said, as long as it takes, I'll stay here with you. I never forgot that. You ever seen the movie Braveheart, right? At the funeral when his father died, I think everybody walked off too. And the little girl walks up and she gives him the flower. Nobody will ever forget that. So when you go to a funeral with someone and you know they have a serious connection to somebody in that box, when everybody walks off, stay with them. Stay with them. You don't have to say a lot. If you want, put your hand on their shoulder and just say, I'll stay with you. That'll break them out that fog a little bit, and just to know it's somebody with them. They'll never forget you for the rest of their life. Say, I'll stay with you. And then when you guys go back, you might not even roll together, right? They might be in a different car, right? Like I said, you don't have to give them cash. You don't have to give them your phone number. Just say, I'll stay with you. Grief is cold, it's lonely. And at that burial, everybody fucking walks off and they go to pick up flowers that they probably didn't even buy. Everybody walked away at my mother's funeral to go and get flowers that I know they didn't buy. But perhaps I've been to a funeral too. Maybe I grabbed a flower that I didn't buy. So that's the bonus. Happy Halloween.